Hello everyone. Good morning and good evening. Thank you for joining us today at World Cancer Week 2021. First of all, I would like to explain about this week-long event. World Cancer Week 2021 is being held by CancerX, a general incorporated association, for 7 days from 31st January to 6th February, with World Cancer Day in between. In this week-long event, there are 35 sessions with 150 speakers. This session is part of the event and held on World Cancer Day, the very same day at Japan Standard Time. So let me start the session. CancerX Global. Subtitle is How to Maximize Our Collective Impact in Cancer Society. The moderator is Miyako Hosoda. So Miyako, please start.
Thank you very much for introducing. So now we get started the World Cancer Week 2021 Cancer X Global. How to maximize our collective impact in cancer society. My name is Miwako Hosoda and I'll be moderating this session. CancerX aims to create a collective impact where all people can work together to create a society where people can live with cancer without anxiety and social discrimination. Please allow me to tell you a little about myself. I have been participating in CancerX since 2019 as a sociological researcher and advocate for people with cancer. At the end of last year, I was diagnosed with cancer. Actually, it is the first time for me to coming out my cancer. When I got cancer, I had a strange feeling. Many people say that when people are told to have cancer, they are shocked and distressed. However, I noticed that I was not upset at all. Why? I think it is because I have been involved in CancerX and knowing the people who gather here. I hope that many people will get involved in this CancerX movement to create a collective impact for our community. Today, we have distinguished speakers from around the world. They will be sharing information, expertise, and ideas about cancer from their respective area of expertise. Then, panel discussion among the speakers will be followed. Finally, we will like to take questions from the audience. Now, I'd like to welcome the first speaker, Dr. Naoto. Thank you, Naoto.
Thank you, Miwako. So my name is Naoto Ueno. I am a professor of medicine at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer. I am the co-founder of the CancerX and also the represented board member of the CancerX. So please start the slides for me, please. Yes. So thank you very much. And I would like to introduce about our CancerX activities. So CancerX started in 2018. Next slide, please. So the question is, what is CancerX? And the CancerX has a fundamental theme called Cancer, So What? So what does this so what mean? So as you know that many of us, when you are diagnosed with cancer, and I myself as a two-time cancer survivor, I was diagnosed with sarcoma on my left thigh about 12 years ago. And also I had what we call myelodysplastic syndrome, which is like a pre-leukemia condition. And I ended up having a stem cell transplant 3 years ago. So this is really a tough situation being a physician and also being a cancer survivor, and anybody who has cancer, it's tough. So the question is, how can we actually create a society and do not become too upset. Yes, we will get upset when you're diagnosed, but we would like to see a society that I feel like, okay, well, I will have full support from my society, my family members, from my colleagues, that I will do well. So we are interested in a movement to really see whether we could create this society, Cancer So What. Next slide, please. So what does X stand for? Well, X stands for crossing. And this crossing has a lot of different meaning. One of the crossing is crossing variety of ideas and fields, which actually lead to collaboration. The other is X is really going beyond the boundary, which will bring change. And X really stands for crossing out the cancer. So meaning that making the cancer history or eliminating cancer. Next slide. So as I mentioned, that CancerX idea is to cross any topics. So you could see that some of the example here: cancer and information, cancer and employment, cancer and exercise, cancer and mobility. There are many topics. And why is this important? Because when you're diagnosed with cancer, you're very much focused with treatment or diagnosis or prognosis. But the reality is that we're part of the society, and we have to eat, we have to exercise, we have to enjoy. So everything has some connection. And so there are many things that we need to come up with a better solution so that we could live better. Next, please. So we have multiple members. One is founders and members that or volunteers or members that who helps us to make this cancer work. So this is a collective effort to make this successful. Next slide, please. So our action has been, as I mentioned, that this is funded in 2018, and we have been aligning with World Cancer Day. So in 2019, we had our first summit. We had more than 600 people attend, and we had another summit in 2020. And at the summit, we bring in a variety of influencer or innovative people, and 30% is healthcare provider, 30% is cancer patients or caregiver, 30% is people who are not directly involved in cancer area. So these are maybe enterprise government official people. So we were able to really create this movement of bringing in variety of people to join. Next slide, please. So as you know, the World Cancer Day is an initiation and by UICC. So in October of 2020, CancerX has now joined as a part of the member, and we're very much excited that we could work together to bring to create a better society for Japan as well as for Asia and for the world. Next, please. So this year is different. This is the third time, and we decided to transition to the entire week. Part is due to the COVID-19, but this has been an opportunity because we could do all our session online. Next slide, please. So we were able to bring in more than 150 speakers starting from January 31st, and with more than 35 sessions that covers variety of topic. As I mentioned before, like CancerX was information, CancerX was employment, CancerX was research. So on the first day, on January 31st, we had more than 3,000 engagement. Next slide, please. So the theme of this World Cancer Week is called With Cancer. And this is about to know and to engage and to change. And we want everybody wants to join the effort. And our goal is to create a movement and have by collective impact process. So engaging a lot of different people, and we eventually would like to have this ultimate goal, which is crossing out cancer. So thank you very much for listening to my presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Naoto. So next presenter will be the Miss Muriel. Miss Muriel is Senior Membership Manager, Membership of Partner Development of Union for International Cancer Control. Muriel, thank you.
Thank you, Miwako, and good morning or good afternoon. I'm here calling you from UICC offices in Geneva. It's a pleasure to join you. I'm responsible for the membership development work at UICC. We have over 1,200 members in 171 countries and a broad range of organizations that are part of our community, including the world's leading cancer societies, patient support groups, research and cancer centers, professional associations, and ministries of health. So today I will begin by sharing with you a video that our CEO, Dr. Carrie Adams, has prepared. So kindly play the video.
Hello everyone, my name is Carrie Adams and I'm the CEO of the Union for International Cancer Control based here in Geneva, Switzerland. I appreciate the opportunity to say a few words as you gather together today for the CancerX Week of events this year. It is also great to be with you all to mark the lead up to World Cancer Day on February the 4th. For the team here at UIC, along with the rest of the world, World Cancer Day on 4th of February is a very important occasion. It's a valuable opportunity to recognise the entire cancer community and the critical work that everyone is doing, from cancer organisations, researchers, healthcare workers to companies and governments. And particularly right now, as our community continues to face the impacts of the global COVID pandemic. This year is the final year of the I Am and I Will campaign. It's more important than ever that we all come together, work together to exchange knowledge, best practices and great ideas. We have recently welcomed CancerX as a full UIC member, and the team here at UIC looks forward to working together with CancerX and UIC Japan, a long-standing partner of UICC, to strengthen our regional reach as a cancer community. As a membership organisation, UIC has a first priority, and that is to support and unite the cancer community. This includes supporting members such as CancerX, whose aim is to create collective impact on social issues related to cancer, involving a very diverse range of stakeholders beyond patients and healthcare providers. It's important for us to ensure that all UIC members have access to news, information, training and good practices. And in 2020, UIC expanded its online and virtual services such as webinars and knowledge sharing via online platforms, including our own virtual dialogues. They've all gone very well. Our priority has been to support 1,200 UIC members around the world, and it is a key role of UIC to connect members around the world so that they can share good practices and gain insights. Last year, over 700 people participated in at least one of our webinars, and many members came back for a second and a third webinar. We also make the content available online, knowing that not everyone has the opportunity to take part in the live events. UIC's collective impact in our three areas of work, convening, capacity building and advocacy, are also reflected at the regional level as we bring our platforms in the regions, provide capacity building activities tailored to regional needs and languages, and strengthen our members' advocacy capacity nationally. Partnership and collaboration at a global, regional and national level is essential to transforming commitment into action. UIC delivers all of its programs in partnership with members and partners and leveraging the community of experts across all areas of cancer control and the broader health community. We cannot do this alone. And I appreciate the work that CancerX is doing, including hosting this Cancer Week, to ensure that as a country you are having these active discussions and exchanges about cancer control. UIC is proud to have a strong presence in Asia Pacific with over 400 members from diverse backgrounds. We continue to work alongside our members in the region. We've partnered with the National Cancer Center of Korea to provide a case study on their National Cancer Control Plan, which is a resource that showcases best practice at a global level. We also organised the 2019 Leadership in Action meeting in Singapore, which brought together UIC members to strengthen their voice at the regional level. With these regional meetings, we encourage collaborations across sectors and sharing best practices from the community on key topics in the region, such as universal health coverage and civil society mobilisation. One of the Asia Pacific public-private dialogues UIC hosted focused on how patients can become a real partner in shaping cancer care. This dialogue helped to raise the voice of patients among leaders in the cancer community, not just nationally, but also regionally. UIC was also able to support the local leadership capacities with regionally relevant tools and connections and inspire organisations to break outside of their silos and engage with a wide range of stakeholders. And after World Cancer Day, one of the most important events in the calendar this year is the World Cancer Leaders Summit, bringing together regional leaders, including from CancerX and UIC Japan. But for now, we're focusing on the week leading up to World Cancer Day, February the 4th. The theme for 2021 is I Am and I Will, and it will be our last year celebrating this particular theme. We can all do something, whoever we are. Every individual can make a difference. And I'd love to know what you can do individually as a commitment in this final year of I Am and I Will. So who are you and what will you do? Let us know and help us spread the word this World Cancer Day. I encourage you to visit the World Cancer Day website, worldcancerday.org, and find out more and see how others are getting involved on the day itself. Be inspired by others and help us to inspire others. Thank you for inviting me to contribute to your conference and above all for your continued work and commitment to cancer globally. I wish you a wonderful event and I look forward to hearing more about the outcomes of your discussions. And I hope you'll join me along with thousands and thousands of people who will be celebrating what can be achieved in cancer control globally on February the 4th. Have a great week and an excellent World Cancer Day, everyone. I am Kerry Adams. I am the CEO of UITC and I will help you achieve what you want to achieve in cancer control.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this short video from our CEO, Dr. Kerry Adams. So I'd like to thank CancerX again for the invitation to share UICC perspectives at this important event. And it's really a pleasure to be here with a diverse panel in the presence of our partner, UICC Japan, who plays a leading role for the global cancer community, as well as the National Cancer Society of Malaysia, who has hosted a previous World Cancer Congress. So in the video, our CEO spoke of the importance of partnerships, which is essential to transforming commitment into action. And according to the latest figures of IARC, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, the global cancer burden has risen to more than 19 million cases and 10 million cancer deaths in 2020. By 2040, we expect 28 million new cases per year. And this increase is driven primarily by the aging population, but also the continuous exposure to cancer risk factors. These alarming figures show that cancer is indeed a global issue and affects all of us, organizations, communities, and individuals. So today I'll talk you through the importance of partnerships and collaboration at UICC and share additional experiences we've had through our key activities. Next slide, please. So partnerships have become more and more recognized as necessary to achieve sustainable development goals, including health. We are driving the movement of the cancer community to have a more inclusive approach, also to ensure sustainability, but also to bring innovation by bringing all these different stakeholders together. Our approach is multi-sectoral, and we want to leverage the community of experts that we have. You can see on the graph that the members are really at the center of everything we do. 1,200 organizations, 171 countries, including all of the stakeholders that we mentioned earlier. Not only do members contribute in shaping our activities, because they are the ones that communicate to us what their needs are, they are also the ones that benefit from it. In addition, we also have official relations with the World Health Organization and other United Nations agencies. And finally, we partner with the private sectors and other foundations and try to engage all individuals. Next slide, please. So as you've heard, the community has really been driving the cancer control activities locally and globally on our platforms such as World Cancer Day. In 20 years, we've seen incredible increase in awareness raising activities, people using the day to launch important initiatives, national cancer control plans. Today in Nigeria, there will be free screening for the general public. Videos are launched in Myanmar to raise awareness about cancer involving celebrities. So we've seen really a tremendous engagement from the community and more press coverage. Japan has been very active. I've included on the upper right side a picture of what is planned for this year. UICC Japan and UICC ARO, Asia Regional Office, have been leading such impressive activities that we share with the community, including the lighting of landmarks. I think there will be 16 this year, which is quite impressive. On the left, you'll see the Geneva jet d'eau, which is a symbol of Geneva. But beyond World Cancer Day, UICC Japan Committee has been a longstanding partner of UICC through the leadership of Chairman Dr. Noda, as well as Nori Kawahara, UICC Japan Public Relations Director and the CEO of the Asia Cancer Forum. They've engaged such prestigious institutions and did considerable work on universal health coverage that we're able to share as a best practice. But World Cancer Day also extends its action to all individuals, and we've provided the community with tailored materials that anybody can use to raise cancer awareness. Next slide, please. So the Solidarity Challenge that is featured here is part of World Cancer Day, and it's another virtual cycling event that we are launching for the first time and bringing again companies, celebrities, individuals to join. And we encourage you to visit the website, which I'll include in the chat so you can see. We've also seen impact of collective action at the global and local level through the World Cancer Leaders Summit, which Carrie mentioned. So the summit is really our high-level policy meeting that brings together the members of UICC, but also partners, UN agencies, heads of states. And the global approach of this event really allows participants not only to gain the knowledge to better channel the global commitments to local action, but also provides them with information and best practices that they can apply in their local countries. It allows members to sit at the table of decision makers and exchange perspectives. And finally, we've seen also that it brings together stakeholders, even at the national level, that usually work in silos. The impact has been incredible for the host countries as well, because they were able to progress on national commitments, increase collaborations, and also benefit from capacity building opportunities. By bringing all these high-level community into their country, the national attention was brought on cancer. It helped them, the UICC members, take a leadership role in their country. We've seen in Mexico, for example, our member became the lead for the development of the National Cancer Control Plan and was assigned to have a direct link with the president throughout the whole process, which is an incredible achievement. Countries were able to build new collaborations. In Kazakhstan, a memorandum of understanding was signed between our member, the Ministry of Healthcare, and the private sector. And they agreed to have joint activities between the scientific community, healthcare professionals, and the patients as well. And finally, new capacity building opportunities were brought to the countries and the region through UICC capacity building, including training, mentorship, among many other UICC activities that we offer. So the next summit is coming up in October. It will be a hybrid format in Boston. And I look forward to leveraging this event to have an even stronger impact. So we've seen that cancer is an issue that really affects all of us and all societies and needs to be tackled in a holistic approach. We've seen that more partnerships and collaborations are critical to achieving our common vision. And UICC's experience shows that with collective action, we are able to increase the global attention and commitments and push for these commitments on cancer control. And we encourage you to continue engaging in our global platforms. And I'd be happy to connect with you and share with you more information about UICC activities. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share UICC activities.
Thank you very much, Muriel. What wonderful presentation. Thank you. So next, I'd like to welcome Dr. Tetsuo. Dr. Tetsuo is chairman of Japan National Committee for UICC and director of Cancer Institute, Japanese Foundation for Cancer Research. So please come up to the stage. Thank you.
Miyako, thank you very much for the introduction. Can I have my first slide, please? Yeah, as Miyako described, I serve as a chairman of Japan National Committee for UICC, known as UICC Japan. And I'm also working as a representative director of the Japanese Foundation for Cancer Research. Today, I'm going to about UICC Japan and a little bit about also the UICC. Okay. Next slide, please. Yeah, we already had many details of the UICC from Miss Muriel Correa. So it's not necessary, but anyway, I should a little bit mention about the UICC. Actually, oldest and largest cancer fighting organization and non-governmental organization, and keeping official relations with UN agencies such as WHO and IARC. And the Japan National Committee for UICC Japan, actually was established in 1962. It's actually nearly 60 years ago. It was to raise a fund in Japan to support the UICC. And now we are contributing for promotion of anti-cancer movement in Japan and also in Asia, actually as an official partner of UICC. Currently, our UICC Japan consists of the 29 organizations and the Japanese Foundation for Cancer Research, so-called Ganken in Japan, is serving as a secretariat of the UICC Japan. Next slide, please. Yeah, as you can see here, there are 29 members. Sorry, all names are in Japanese. Okay, sorry. But anyways, those are the cancer research centers with hospitals and also the major academic societies for cancer research, and also some cancer research funds. And I believe that you could now understand who we are now, okay? Yes, we are a group of the cancer experts, or in other words, the cancer specialists, okay? So next slide, please. So then I'm gonna talk about what we are doing now. Okay, so this is a little bit old slides, but this shows the activity of the UICC in three columns, convening, capacity building, and advocacy. Among those activities, we collaborate with UICC. For example, at the bottom of the left column, we are publishing the Japanese version of the TMN classification. Many of you know the TMN classification is a very variable and essential system for the staging of the malignant tumors. And also we established and supporting the Yamagiwa Yoshida Fellowship for the scientists, actually, for the cancer scientists of UICC. It's already for more than 45 years. And then the right column, and we, as Miss Muriel could kindly mentioned, we have managed an UICC Asian Regional Office. Through this activity of UICC ARO, we organized some series of lectures, and we organized the government, academia, industry dialogues in Japan. And those are the some of our activities. And among those activities, finally, could you see the again at the top of the left column, finally, as you can see here, very important activity among these is in the World Cancer Day events in Japan. Okay, now we are having the very important events. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, we are expecting to have two World Cancer Day events this year. Actually, this shows an World Cancer event one by UICC Japan. Tomorrow, February 4th, is the World Cancer Day, actually, which was proposed by UICC and decided by the UICC. And this year, actually, tomorrow, we plan to organize two World Cancer Day events, and the first one is lighting up events in Japan, and kindly mentioned by Muriel. Thanks. And at 6 p.m. at the night, in 16 cities, our members will illuminate their famous architectures in the region in orange and blue. I believe those are the UICC colors. And you can see each of those the photos here, and we will light up at the 6 p.m. And you can join this event through the website of UICC Japan. Please join us. And can I have next slide, please? Okay, second one. We also plan to have a World Cancer Day session. As shown here, we have 12 sessions. And the theme of this series is aiming for cancer care that leaves no one behind. And I'm sorry that you can see the 12 sessions, titles of 12 sessions, and the faces of the chairpersons here. However, all those sessions will be performed, actually were performed already in Japanese. And you can see those sessions in the website. And you can also access these sessions website and check the all the directions of our sessions. And here, interacting, preventing, thinking, learning, and fighting, and supporting, living, and eating. Okay, using different aspects, they try to find out the way of the unification to overcome the cancer. I hope many of you join our World Cancer Day events, uniting our hearts together to overcome cancer. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation, Dr. Tetsuo. So now I would like to welcome the Dr. Santari. Dr. Santari is a president of National Cancer Society Malaysia. Can you please start? Dr.
Thank you
Santari.
so much, Miwaku. Thank you to CancerX for having me here. It's exciting to be part of this forum. And when I was told what the theme was, but how do we stop distress in people when they're diagnosed with cancer, it made me think back to when I was first involved with cancer. And I am going to try to share I'm going to try to share a PowerPoint presentation with you. I hope, if you just give me a minute. I can't seem to be able to share my PowerPoint presentation, unfortunately. Can the organizers share it at all? It won't come up.
Oh, we are sorry. So maybe there are some technical issues. So please wait a while. Thank you.
Okay, but it doesn't matter if I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. Just very quickly though, when I first joined over 20 years ago, the National Cancer Society of Malaysia. The National Cancer Society of Malaysia was primarily an organization which was very medical. We had medical facilities and we did a lot of education. But when I joined, there were a lot of people out there who wanted more information, which was not medical. They wanted a lot more support and they wanted their voices heard. And because of that, we decided that the National Cancer Society would start a division which was mostly in terms of being a patient advocate. So being there for the patient, just not for the medical aspects of it, but the psychosocial part of it, the emotional aspects of things. And that started a whole new section and a vibrant section of the National Cancer Society, and has become such a huge part of who we are today. Now, 20 years ago, when we decided to start this section, it was, how do we get the word out? How do we get people to start talking about cancer? And in Malaysia those days, cancer was very much a stigma. You couldn't talk about cancer. And if you were a cancer patient, if you had someone with cancer, you were too scared to actually talk about your cancer because you didn't want people to stigmatize you. And also in Malaysia, the thought was that if you had cancer and you talked about it, it would shine a light on you. And that could mean that your cancer could come back or something bad could happen to you. So it was very, very hard to get people to talk about cancer. So I did the only thing I could do. I actually wrote my mother in. My mother at the time was a 4-time cancer survivor. She had 4 different types of cancers. And I told her she had no choice. You know, she had to go out there and start talking about her cancer. And I put her on magazines, I put her into newspapers, I put her onto TV. I did everything I could, you know, to get her voice out there in terms of cancer. And it worked. Because of that, people started talking about cancer. And when someone saw it, they were more willing to come out and say, yes, I had cancer. So coming back to the theme of, you know, how do we stop that distress with cancer? I believe emphatically you stop it by actually talking about it, by us putting our stories out there about cancer. And it's not just stories about the medical aspects, It's not stories about the public health initiatives which have to be out there, but it's those personal stories which talk so much, which make people realize that cancer doesn't happen in the third party, meaning that cancer doesn't happen to someone else, but cancer can happen to any single one of us because there's so many faces associated with cancer. And that face could be your own face as well. And over the years, we built up that whole idea of faces, of the cancer faces, to just not people with cancer, but the family members who are looking after them, their friends who found out and how they felt about it, the society, the community around them, who were impacted by someone within their midst. So slowly by slowly, you got people from different parts of society joining in and lending their voice to cancer. And I think that is my message today. We collaborate, and we collaborate in many different ways, but we collaborate with our voices, our shared voices together. My presentation. So we collaborate with our shared voices together. And you might think that this slide is a very strange slide to put on a cancer cancer presentation, but I was talking about stories, and stories. Gilgamesh was the first superhero 4,000 years ago in this world. And he had super strengths. He could kill lions. He, built cities, etc. And he ruled for over 125 years. And because his story was such a strong story, they wanted to visualize it. And that's why they put statues up on him. And this is the first known story known to man. If you show the next slide, stories are part of our cultures. The formats might change. If you look at the middle bottom, that's the wayang kulit. That's how we tell stories in Malaysia, through shadow stories. But the formats might change throughout the years. And I know Japan has such a strong history in storytelling. The next slide. If you could give, but yeah, the values stay the same. The stories that we tell stay the same. It's just that we tell it in different ways. And today itself, we are telling a story. Next slide. I'll go through these really quickly because I want to have time for a discussion. So as I mentioned before, cancer was always medical, economic, public health, etc. But the faces of cancer that make a difference and help us collaborate are the survivors, are the caregivers, are us, are all these different faces that we have. The next slide. And quickly, that is a picture on your left-hand side of me and my mother and her little dog. That was my mother after 6 bouts of cancer, and now she's had 7 bouts of cancer, and she's 92 years old this year. So she's a living testament to the idea that there is life with cancer. And that's why I say it's voices to victory, because of my mother, to be honest, we came up with the tagline, the National Cancer Society tagline of giving hope, celebrating life. Because irrespective of what your story is with cancer, there is always some hope, and there's always a celebration of your life. Before cancer, during cancer, and after cancer. Next slide. So these, as I mentioned, are just different people who have become part of the Cancer Society family, young cancer survivors, caregivers. Next slide. And this is it. I am National Cancer Society of Malaysia, and I will fight cancer, and I will fight it with you, collaborating with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. I totally agree with your idea. I'm a sociologist, and I hear the voice of the people who cannot, speak out. So, to support such a people, such a vulnerable people, to be able to speak out, it is so necessary and it is wonderful. Thank you very much. So now, we have a discussion part. So we learned a lot from these wonderful presenters, and we know how to innovatively create a society where people with cancer live well and healthy. So let's move to panel discussion. And CancerX is trying to create a collective impact, as Naoto told us. We are expecting a cancer so what society. So how to make this happen? You are already telling the idea and your practice, but I'd like to ask you, what kind of result will collective impact create? In other words, what will make it possible to create a society where people are not distressed and upset by being diagnosed to have cancer? So,
Okay, I'll start. Who wants to start? I think the whole idea is that, working collaboratively together accelerates our voice. It actually amplifies our voice. It makes us louder. And the most important thing about making ourselves louder is that we all share the same message. Our voices might be different, our stories might be different, but we all have to share that same message. And that message has to be a message which is based on evidence-based medicine, because there's so much noise out there. So we have to be very clear about our message, and we should join together to make sure that that message is cohesive. And I think, that's where today that we're all together, that's where UICC comes in, UICC Japan comes in, CancerX comes in that, we talk to each other, and we make sure that that the messaging that we do give out, like World Cancer Day, resonates across the world in every part. So.
No, I agree with you, Santari. I mean, I think having this kind of common theme and common thing that we want to do is very important. And somehow it's an easy thing to say, but it's been very difficult, right? And so that's the challenge. And so I think having different field, and even if it's not related to cancer, I was mentioning about like mobility or entertainment, it may have nothing to do with cancer, but I think people will have some kind of experience of cancer by themselves or their family members. So if we have a common message, easy message for to understand, I think we have a very strong impact to at the national or global level. Yeah, I agree.
Now, just to build on that and what Sontari said, I agree that there are two components: the importance of bringing the right facts and raising awareness about cancer to the community, but also accompanying the patients, as the National Cancer Society has done of Malaysia. And we've seen in the many years we've worked together with Sandri that the central role of the patient support groups. At UICC, we have over 450 patient support groups that are part of the community, and they really play a big role in getting the patient's perspective, and we accompany them and we build their capacities to make sure that they are well equipped to speak at the global stage, to interact with the other stakeholders that they come across in their daily work. And I think there's need for more support of these patient groups, really being more inclusive of these patient groups, bringing their voice, because this is really what resonates not only with partners, but also with all individuals that listen to them. So I think that's a really important aspect that we want to continue, not only at UICC, but together with you, our members. I believe in Japan as well, there is the recently joined the Japan Federation of Cancer Patients. So we're seeing really there's diversification of more stakeholders joining in. Maybe Naoto, you'd like to share, or Dr. Noda, what are your perspectives on the future of this new movement in Japan?
I mean, I could tell you from the CancerX perspective, it was a pleasant surprise when we tried to, you know, reach out to people who have no interest in cancer, and they, you know, we learned from them, and we learned from, you know, by talking about the story or the message that you just talked about. So, you know, a lot of time when we do these kind of cancer events, what happens is that people who have cancer or patient or caregiver shows up, and it's kind of a same kind of people who joining. And but you know, what we learned from the process is that we have to really reach out even beyond who don't even have no interest at all, actually. And then we find that there's a, you know, one of the example is like a gaming or university kids, and then surprisingly, if you tell them the story, there it resonates somehow. So I think you know, we could at the global level really try to reach out beyond the stakeholders that we know, and I think we need to have more strategic planning beyond, you know, what the people we know. That's kind of something that I learned over the several years. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to know what type of strategic, you know, the idea to involve the non-stakeholder individuals. If you have an idea.
Are you asking me, or are you asking Muriel, or?
Both, if possible.
Muriel, Santheri, Tetsuo, you want to go?
Yeah, I totally agree with you know, the aspect of the Naoto and the Muriel, and but okay, but when we look back the task of UICC Japan, as you could see, that we are a group of the specialists and the experts on the cancer. So primary task for us, we believe, to produce the evidence, I think. In any aspects of the cancer medicine and or cancer patient care, still we suffer the shortage of the real evidence. Okay, so the production of the evidence would be the first task. However, just now we understand just the production of the evidence would not be enough to change the future of the cancer care or cancer medicine. We have to deliver those evidence to the hand of the people, like patients and families. And finally, as Naoto mentioned, to the hands of the people who have never thought about they will suffer the cancer in future. Okay, so and to deliver, since we are the specialists, to deliver those evidence to those people, we really need a collaboration with other sectors. Okay, that's the point, I think. Okay.
And I think this is a very interesting point, because Tetsuo and Santheri, you've also mentioned about importance of it needs to be evidence-based, and we also probably need to educate more about the process of how this evidence is created, because people think evidence or no evidence, but they don't seem to understand how much effort is needed, and you know, it's a major effort to create this evidence. So we need to really educate these people that it's a very long process, and if you don't have an engagement from a lot of different people, you can't even create this evidence, and this evidence can only be coming from a medical expert.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, one of the obstacles or challenges that we face in Malaysia is that fake news. I know fake news is a very well-known term, but there's a lot of fake news out there, or there's a lot of noise which comes from non-evidence-based science, or from alternative therapists. And Malaysia has a very, very strong culture with home-based remedies, etc. And so when you come with a lot of medical, a lot of people think it's gibberish, a lot of words that don't make any sense, or very, very well written, but very heavy evidence-based papers on cancer, a lot of people shy away from it. So it's up to us as civil society organizations, as patient groups, as whatever organizations we are, or as individuals, to actually unpack all that evidence and put it down into small little packets that everybody can actually understand. And again, try to personalize it in some way. And personalizing it is the difficulty, because how someone who's 60-year-old thinks, or how someone who is 20 years old, or someone who lives in the city and someone who lives in a rural area, everyone thinks differently within your same country. And so that sort of personalization, I think, is the most difficult, getting those stories out there so that they can resonate with all the different groups, are the challenges that we face, I think, as cancer organizations.
I agree, Santari, and really, you mentioned personalizing, and we see the diversity of how the community has tailored the World Cancer Day materials that we've developed, which is quite impressive. Addressing also, approaching different groups at the local level, rural areas as well. And I think that combining that with those dialogues taking place, such as the Japanese series that you're organizing, we see that in other countries as well, helps also bring the message across by bringing, for example, researchers speaking to the general public, patients talking with government officials. So these types of dialogue also help, share the information in a different way, and I think that that has a lot more impact as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Can I add one thing? Yeah, fake news or noises. We have to remind us that the evidence is not always sweet. Sometimes evidence should be sour. But we have to convince the people that to have the sour evidence now, to share the sour evidence now will lead to the sweet fruit in next generation or something. We have to share those type of aspects, and we should go forward together. Okay, that's the kind of aspects from the, the cancer scientists and the cancer experts. Okay.
Definitely, I do agree with that, Tetsuo. One of the things, as you said, is that the sour and the sweet. What we're looking for is behavior change. What we're looking for is for people to actually change their behavior so that we can actually prevent cancer from happening.
That's really nice. Yeah.
That is the perfect end state.
Yeah.
Yes. So telling the stories is one thing, and I think it's a very strong part of it. But having the services to support those stories is also very incredibly important. So having the scientists, having the health systems to be able to support people, so when they decide that, yes, I am going to do this behavior change, I am going to help myself and go and see a doctor, or go and see a physician, or go to a health clinic, that clinic, that doctor is ready to see that patient and give the patient the same information that we are also sharing, and give the patient that same services that we are advocating. So this whole thing about sharing, collaborating, we speak a lot about it in terms of collaborating with the public. with patients, etc. But we also have to remember that we have to collaborate within ourselves, within the health service itself. That it's not just your oncologist and your radiologist, etc., who are looking at cancer, but it's your public health, it's your GP on the ground, it's your nurse who is going out to homes and seeing people. They are on the same page as well.
Thank you very much. Yes, actually, we have several questions from the audience. Can I ask one question? The one asking.
Only one. Oh.
We have many questions, but sorry, the time is so strict. So, how we can collaborate together internationally from here? So, if you have some idea, please share us.
Maybe just the first point. We've seen all these different initiatives nationally, globally, and often it's hard to determine what is the best way I can contribute to the global fight against cancer. I think the first step is to get informed nationally what is already taking place and what are the channels or initiatives that you can strengthen as an individual or a company, an organization, and gain a better understanding also of how this contributes to the global impact that we try to achieve. And I think at UICC, we are in fact an international organization based in Geneva. However, our way of operating is really to strengthen and rely on the expertise of the individuals in the countries. So as a first step, would be to contribute to the global fight against cancer in your own country and strengthen and gain an understanding of global cancer control, how that contributes. Because it's through these exchanges that each country can also raise their voice or share their best practices.
Yeah, thank you very much. So there are still a lot of things to discuss, but we have to close the session. So I'd like to thank all the speakers and the audience, and I'd like to say thank you for CancerX staff to make this wonderful collaborative opportunity. So yeah, I'd like to conclude this session to be very successful. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you, Miwak.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Wait.
Nice moderation. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Just for the announcement for the audience. So also the speakers. We are sorry about the inconvenience about initial travel of the technical issues. But for the audience, we have some announcement. So this is the one program inside World Cancer Week 2021. So if you have a ticket, we will have a networking virtual room from the 9:45 p.m. tonight. And also this session was recorded, and we will provide you again on the next day, morning 10 a.m. in the Japanese Standard Time. It's actually the on time of the 4th of February, World Cancer Day. So you can see again this program from the morning at 10 o'clock as well. So thank you for all the speakers and the audience to join this session. It's very nice. And see you next meeting, or see you next time for the collaboration. Thank you very much. And the speakers, can you see the chat box? If you possible, can you move to the another room? I have a announcement a little bit. So thank you for all for coming. So this session will end soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.